Hey everybody, I'm here to do a little more practice with long division. So if you would please grab your math notebook and copy these problems in, and then pause the video and try them on your own, or even just do one at a time, and then start the video back up to watch me do it so you can kind of check your work and kind of catch where you're getting mistakes. Feel free to jot down any questions or circle things on your paper that you can ask me questions about. Okay, I started by just writing D, M, S, B, and R at the top for divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, and then this stands for finding the remainder or repeat. So I just wrote that at the top to help myself remember the steps, and that's something that I would encourage you to do as well. I'm going to start with this problem here. 478 divided by 2. Right off the bat, my brain starts telling me that I'm dividing something by 2, which means cutting it in half, and that this number ends with an 8, so I know it's going to go in evenly, and I know there should be no remainder when I get done. So that's just kind of a little clue to start thinking about the problem before you start doing it as well. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do with this problem is I'm going to cover up the other numbers and just work with the first number at a time. You can use a sticky note as well if you would like to. So I'm going to ask myself, can I divide that 4 into any groups of 2? And I think, yes, I can get it as close to 4. I can get 2 times 2 is 4. So I go ahead and write my 2 up at the top. I put the 4 below. Now I'm going to subtract because I've done the division and the multiplying. I just subtract 4 minus 4. I get 0. I'm going to bring down that 7. And now I'm asking, can I divide 7 into groups of 2 without going over? I sure can. I can get 3 groups because 3 times 2 is 6. And then I'm going to subtract again, and I'm going to bring down that 8. I'm going to divide 18 into groups of 2, and I know I can get 9 groups of 2 out of that. 9 times 2 is 18. I'm going to subtract, and I have no numbers left to bring down, and I have 0 as an answer, and I know that I am finished. And so my answer is 239. Okay, of course, the way to check your work, as you know, is to multiply 2 times 239, and it should get you back to 478. So you can do that on the side, especially when you're taking tests or like a big end of grade test. That would be really important to check your work. Okay, the next step I'm going to do is 667 divided by 5. So I'm going to cover up the other numbers and just have the first one. Can I divide 6 into any groups of 5? Yes, I can. I can get one group of 5. So 1 times 5 is 5. I'm going to subtract, and I'm going to bring down. Can I get any groups of 5 out of 16? Yes, I can. How close can I get to without going over? Well, 3 times 5 is 15. So I'm going to subtract, and I'm going to bring down. Can I get any groups of 5 out of 17 without going over? Yes, I can. Once again, 3 times 5 is 15. I'm going to subtract. Now there's nothing left to bring down, and I still have 2, so I circle it so I don't forget, and I'm going to write remainder 2 up at the top. Okay? Next one is 923 divided by 8. Well, if you start saying in your brain, oh gosh, it's an 8 and I'm not really good with my 8 facts, there is a way to help yourself that we've talked about, and that is over to the side, just write out your multiplication facts to help yourself to be prepared. So I know 8 times 1 is 8, 8 times 2 is 16, 8 times 3 is 24, 8 times 4 is 32, 8 times 5 is 40, 8 times 6 is 48, and 8 times 7 is 56, 8 times 8 is 64, and 8 times 9 is 72. But let's say I didn't know 8 times 9, but I know 8 times 8 is 64, then I would just put 8 on my fingers and I would count 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72. So don't forget, you can use your fingers, but if you make this little chart on the side, now when you go to do this problem, you don't have to stress out that you're going to get it wrong because you don't know your 8 facts. Now you have a chart to refer to. So right off the bat, I'm just going to say, how many times can I fit 8 into 9 without going over? And you see the farthest you can go is 1. So I'm put the 1 on the top. 1 times 8 is 8. I'm going to subtract. I'm going to bring down that 2. And now I'm going to say again, how many times can I get 8 into 12 without going over? The closest it looks like I'm going to get is 8 again. So put the 1 at the top. 1 times 8. Subtract this, and you can either, do this and then subtract like that, or you could just go in your head, 12 minus 8 if you didn't have to do all the borrowing and stuff. It doesn't matter. So now I'm going to bring down that 3. And now I can use my chart because how close can I get to 43 without going over? It looks like I have 40 here, but this one's 48, so I need to back up and do 5. So 8 times 5 will get me to 40. I can subtract. Okay, there's nothing left to bring down, and I know 8 can't fit into 3, so I know that is my remainder. So I have a remainder of 3. Okay, and oh, I like it if you circle your answer because it starts to get crazy on your paper with all your work, and that helps me to see it. So 115 with a remainder of 3. Okay, we're going to work on a couple of these problems down here. Again, if you want to, now that you watch the top, if you want to pause the video, try these on your own and then start the video back up and compare our work, that would be awesome. We're just doing practice to make sure we're getting the hang of it. Okay, so I'm going to start with the same steps. I'm covering up the other numbers. Can I divide 5 into any groups of 4? Yes, I can. I can get that in there one time. 1 times 4 is 4. I subtract. I bring down. Okay, and here again, if you don't remember your math facts for the 4 family, you could start over here on the side, making yourself a chart so that you can have them here to see. 4 times 3 is 12, 4 times 4 is 16, 4 times 5 is 20. And this is also really good because if you keep doing this, then they're going to help to sink into your head. So if you haven't memorized your math facts, I would recommend making these little charts along the side of your division problems to help you memorize them as well. So anyway, you could go ahead and do all of these down the side, and you really only have to go to 9 because it's going to be a single digit up top. Okay, so now I have 19, so how close can I get to 19 without going over? It looks like 16 because the 20 will go over, so I'm going to do 4 times 4 is 16. I'm going to subtract, and I'm going to bring down. Now I have 32, and I know, of course, that 4 times 8 is 32. And I can subtract, and I have a 0. That means there's nothing left and I have nothing to bring down. So my answer again is 148. And remember, I can check that just by going 148 times 4, and I should get 592. Okay, now I'm going to go over here to this. Again, you should be writing down the facts, especially if you haven't memorized them. So 7 times 1, 7 times 2, 7 times 3, 7 times 4, 7 times 5, 7 times 6, 7 times 7, 7 times 8, and 7 times 9. So now I have the 7s family written down to help me because I see these are big numbers. So if I haven't memorized my 7s, it might start getting a little stressful. If you write this chart, it's not stressful at all. You can use your fingers to fill in the chart, and then you can do the problem with no problem. Okay, so first thing I'm going to cover it up. How close can I get to 8 without going over? Well, just 1 time. So 1 times 7 is 7. I'm going to subtract 1. I'm going to bring down the 9. How close can I get to 19 without going over? Looks like I have to do 2 because that'll get me to 14. So 2 times 7 is 14. I subtract. I bring down. And you can notice, like, because 1 minus 1 is 0, you could write the 0 in there. It really doesn't matter. If that helps you feel better about it, that does not make your problem wrong. That is absolutely fine to conclude that 0 if you would like. Okay, so now I'm going down to 58. So I need to get as close to 58 as I can without going over. I see on my chart that 7 times 8 is 56 and 7 times 9 is 63. So I definitely want to go with 7 times 8. So I'm going to put the 8 up top. 8 times 7 is 56. I subtract. And again, 5 minus 5 is 0, so you can write that, it doesn't matter. I have 2 left over, no other numbers to bring down, so I know that that is my remainder of 2. Now, the way to check this, I wanted to show you when you have a remainder. So what you're going to do is 128 times 7 to check your work. 7 times 8 is 56. 7 times 2 is 14, plus 5, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 1, 9. 7 times 7 is, 7 times 1 is 7, plus the 1 is 8. Now I have a remainder. Don't forget the remainder of 2. You add the remainder of 2, and then that gets me up. And now I can see that I have a match, and that means that I got the problem correct. So when you have a remainder and you go to check your work, just add the remainder to the answer that you got to get back up to where you should be. Okay? All right, so the last problem we have is kind of a challenge problem. It's got 4 digits. This one is the same. Don't get stressed out because you have another number. It's the same steps over and over. So again, I could cover up. 9 cannot fit into 2, so I'm gonna have to go over one more. Can 9 fit into 28? Well, let me write my little chart because I'm not sure if I remember, so I want to make sure I get this right. So I'm just going to take a second. Doesn't take long, and it helps it stick into your brain. 9 times 5 is 45. 9 times 6 is 54. 9 times 7 is 63. 9 times 8 is 72. And 9 times 9 is 81. Okay, so I have my little chart written out here, and now I feel comfortable that I can do this problem without messing up. So I can't fit into 2, can't get close to 2, I gotta go to 28. So how close can I get to 28 without going over? It looks like 9 times 3 is 27. So I'm gonna put the 3 up top. 3 times 9, 27. I subtract, I get 8 minus 7 is 1. 2 minus 2, again, you can put that 0 there if you want to, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna bring down that 9. Now I have 19. Of course, when I look at my chart, I see that I can get 9 times 2. 9 times 2 is 18. I subtract again, and I bring down, and 9 into 13, well, the closest I can really get is just 1. So 1, and then 13 minus 9 is 4. And there's no more numbers to bring down. I can't fit 9 into 4, so I know that is my remainder. And so my answer is 321, remainder 4. There you go. I hope that this helped you with some extra practice and some strategies. Doing these little charts on the side is super helpful, especially if you haven't memorized your facts, or also just helps keep your brain ironed out. So I hope that is helpful, and I look forward to seeing you for our live. Let me know if you have any questions. Keep practicing. Don't worry, you're going to get it. Bye.